Good afternoon. This is Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS Small Business. Welcome to this special webinar today. The subject is how does business development managers' services add value to a business? We're going to look at a number of activities, and we have Moira Verheijen, Relationship Manager of Corporate Connectors, with us, who's going to talk about this unique service that can be supplied to businesses. How are you, Moira?
I'm really well, thanks, Peter. How are you?
Good, thanks. I did a bit of research on Google the other day. I did a bit of research the other day on Google, looking at business development managers. Identifies the organisation's market position, seeks business contacts. These are the sort of services that SMEs should considering hiring some people to help them with these services so as to better expand their business operations. Identifies business opportunities, facilitates deals, supplies marketplace feedback. So I'm going to invite Moira now to start giving us an overview of these type of services, particularly from her experience with Gallups and with corporate connectors. So Moira, I'm just going to switch across and bring up your PowerPoint slides, and you'll be ready to go then.
Thank you, Peter. Well, as Peter changes those slides over, I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you for joining us today. My experience is I've been a BDM, or Business Development Manager, now for over 20 years in many different walks of life, be it the airline industry, my own business, which was an online gift service, now at Gallup Solutions, a training management company, and also corporate connectors. So we'll get straight into it and talk about how does a BDM add value to a business. And I'd like to just start by clicking over to that next slide, which is talking about what a BDM actually stands for. I was actually with someone just this week, and they said, what is a BDM? So I thought it would be wrong to just assume everybody knows what the term means. So BDM is a Business Development Manager. And the most important product that a BDM can actually deliver for you is to generate new clients wanting the services of your company. That is the key role that any BDM that comes on board to find new business for you is employed to do. Now, Peter did some great research there earlier to find out, what is expected of a BDM, and there's a little bit of crossover there between a client relationship manager, an account manager, and a BDM. So today, hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have a very clear understanding on the differences between the two. So let's just talk about the simple role of a BDM is really how to get new blood, new clients, and new business into your organisation. Now, there's a number of ways this can actually be done. They can attend networking events. As part of corporate connectors, my role there is as a client relationship manager, where I'm out there looking for new opportunities and new connections to introduce our current and existing members to each other and bring in new opportunities for them. So, as I mentioned, this can be done through attending networking events, being involved in social networks. It's amazing for any of you out there who are parents and sometimes dredge going along to those football events or dance events or anything like that. These are great social networks where it's a great opportunity just in a social environment to meet new people, people who you may never come across, as you don't really know what they do, because when they're out in that soccer field or they're in that dance hall, they're just the mum and dad. But you don't really know what they do for a job. There may be some great connections and opportunities there for your business. And that's where a BDM can also find opportunities as well. There are community events that they can attend. There's a lot of local Chamber of Commerce's or even there was a person I was talking to recently who attended a community event. It was for a particular, I think it was like an Islamic community board that they went to, and they weren't of that background. And I asked why, and they were explaining to me how the business that is actually conducted within that group was their ideal target audience, and that's exactly what they were going for. And they're very open, so obviously there were business opportunities in that community. So really look at your business and what the ideal client is that you're looking for, and then start thinking of avenues and areas where you can actually be present and gain exposure to your business that actually meet those needs. Other areas that you can look for new clients is through editorials and magazines, radio and TV advertising, and also managing your Facebook and business page. Now, some of these do cross over into a marketing role and marketing sort of steps that they should be doing out there. The business development manager works very closely with the marketing department, with the CEO or sales management team, to understand what is expected of them, to understand what the ideal client is, identify areas that they can actually find new business, but to rely on the BDM to do this alone would be slaughter for your own company. It does need to be complemented with marketing activity out there in the marketplace as well. Now, there are some BDMs who may have that marketing experience that will be able to manage that, but you really do need the expertise there as well. So there are some important components to actually work on to create the right sales culture. So business development manager is a sales role. And there are some people out there who will actually say to you, I'm not a salesperson, but I will do business development. They don't like to be considered as sales people as such. So one of the things that we talk about at Gallup is to create the right sales culture, you need realistic, timely, and an achievable sales strategy. So let's just talk about that for a moment and go into a bit more detail. To effectively lead your sales team, you're going to need a strategy, both long-term and short-term, to keep your team on their toes and constantly strive to achieve the next set outcome. Now, this strategy is created by you, the CEO, and is based on financial projections that are in alignment with your company's goal. So it does fall back on the CEO to sit down there with their finance team and get a very clear strategy on what it is that you need to achieve so that you can actually pass that on to the BDM. So the next component, number 2, is having the right kind of people on your sales team. Now, nothing is more damaging for a sales culture than 1 or 2 people who just aren't as driven or determined as the others, or the ideal type of sales team member. You may have heard the phrase, a team is as strong as its weakest link. Well, when it comes to a sales team, this is definitely true. You need performers who love targets and love proving they can achieve them. Now, it's really important, as my next third component, important component there, that you focus on product and not statistics. So let me just give you an example of what product is. A product is the outcome, but the final thing. We said earlier that the product of a BDM is to bring in new clients wanting the services of your company. It is no point a BDM just bringing junk referrals into your business, because all you're going to get is no opportunity to turn that around for a sale. If they're not qualified, and if they don't actually want your service, then that BDM is wasting your money and your time, and also theirs. So let's talk about the product and the statistic. It is common for salespeople to focus on their statistic and not their product. They can focus only on the transaction and the figures and not on the service or care of actually helping the client. And it's just so important. I mentioned earlier that BDMs don't like to be referred to as salespeople. And as a CEO, you have control over that. By making sure that the BDM or the sales team understand that they are actually helping the client with your services. Once they understand that it's about helping the client, then the statistics, your figures, will go up dramatically, because now it's not about a statistic and they're not focusing on a number. They're focusing on how many people can we actually help. So I hope this actually helps you there understand that the viewpoint keeps your team selling ethically and with a clean heart rather than just going for numbers. It encourages focus on reaching targets, of course, but make sure your team understands that the best way to achieve their targets is to get their actual product that they've employed them for. That is why I mentioned earlier that it is so important that you identify who your ideal client is so that your sales team have a clear understanding of who the target is when it comes to who your service and products actually help. Without having a very clear understanding of who your product actually helps, how can you expect your BDM to actually attract the right sort of people for your business? So it's very clear and very important that you focus on this. You could also have policy around the fact that your company only helps and that any sale that is made that does not help the client is not okay. These kind of guidelines are really important for a sales team and a BDM to contribute to a good sales culture. A lot of companies don't actually have policy around the sales side of things, who it is that they're actually looking to attract. By implementing policy, and it's one of the things that Gallup help their clients do, really does make a difference to that culture that you actually have out there in your team, and will make a difference to that bottom line for you. The point number 4, support and training. Part of fostering and maintaining great sales culture for the BDM is constant training and enhancement of your team. This keeps the team feeling supported and taken care of, and keeps their skill set in keeping with current market trends and expectations. The next point is having specific set outcomes and KPIs statistic. A major component of building a great sales culture is ensuring the whole team has monthly and weekly sales targets to achieve as a team, as well as individual weekly and monthly sales targets for each sales team member. Usually, a BDM reports directly to a sales manager. It's important that the sales manager is ultimately responsible for the BDM's statistics and targets, and these are representative of that whole department. They are also responsible for managing each individual team member to assist them in achieving their sales targets too. When managing BDMs, it's a group environment. It should never be where the BDM is alone. Having that confidence, having the training and the support as well, always helps that BDM to actually achieve those KPIs for them. The last component is policy, as I mentioned earlier. Policy on how to sell. If you don't have those guidelines around the above points that we've mentioned and how your company goes about selling, trust me, your sales team will create their own. There's a lot of industries out there in the marketplace where anyone who comes across a salesperson in a particular industry, and I won't mention any, so not to offend anyone, but there are those out there, and you can think of them yourselves, where they're considered to be sharks, where they're considered to just be out there to get the sale and get the numbers. And we had an instance recently where I actually just walked into a sporting store and there was a particular cricket bat that I was after for my son. When I walked in, the sales assistant said, "Oh, I've got this great cricket bat. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 15% discount on that too." That person did not stop to listen what it was that I was actually after. They didn't stop to find out my needs. They just assumed that I was after the cheapest deal. But if they had actually stopped and listened, and if they had a policy around how to sell in that particular store, he would have actually sold me a more expensive cricket bat at the price that it was labelled rather than a special deal, because I wasn't in there for a deal. I was actually in there for a particular cricket bat. Now, that's not saying that it's just retail, that's environment. That was just a situation I came up to recently. But I'd like you to think in your own industry. Just really think about whether or not your industry has actually got a label around their salespeople, around their BDMs. And if they do, how can you disrupt that for your own company? Putting in some policy. That's really, really important. It can actually take time to create momentum with sales culture, especially if you only have 1 or 2 people in your sales team. But it's really important when looking for the right people out there that they are the most dedicated, competitive, and passionate salespeople. Competitive, yes, but it's the passionate salespeople who are out there to actually help people. Not passionate about helping themselves, but helping the people, your customers, with the service that you provide. It's important to have experience and proven track records when it comes to making sales. This is one that's very true to the way I operate and always have for any company that I've worked for. A BDM has to absolutely love your company's service and products. It's true for the companies that I've worked for, always had a true passion for that. And it helps because you can see in someone's eyes whether or not they actually love what it is that they do. And it's that. Remember, people buy from people that they like. They buy people first before your product. Without them buying the people first, that doesn't even get you a foot in the door for them to look at your product. So they're just some key things to look out for. Are there any questions around that? Peter, do you have any questions that you'd like to throw in after hearing that?
No, I'm very interested in the sort of services that a BDM can offer, and I wonder whether you want to just expand on any viewers of this webinar who might be interested in obtaining the services of BDM. Can you hire a BDM for half a day a week or a day a week or even on an hourly basis to carry out projects for a SME?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question, Peter. Thank you for asking it. You know, there are BDMs that are out there. There are those that are quite professional who are very good at what it is that they do, and it's always a conversation that you can have with companies like that. So, for example, to give you an idea with the Corporate Connectors service that they offer, at Corporate Connectors, it's a group that you join, and within that, I am that client relationship manager who is there to actually look for opportunities between the members themselves. So it allows you to stay within your business and focus on what it is that you do, but it takes the time to meet with myself or with another one of our BDMs within the group to understand your business, understand who the client is that you're looking for. So then that way, as we're out there doing our networking, seeking opportunities, meeting with other people, we can always keep your service there and understanding and identifying the ideal client that you're looking for to grow your business. That's a group, for example. Corporate Connectors is a networking group there. They can actually offer that service. Alternatively, you may like to go out on your own and employ the services of a BDM on a part-time basis. You may employ them, say, on a part-time basis or even on a commission structure, depending on what sort of relationship you want to have there with that particular person. But then you've got to keep in mind the added cost that comes along with that. We're employing BDMs. Obviously, once they're an employee, there are costs that comes along with the employee, but you obviously budget for that. And that's where you set the KPIs to obviously cover their costs and growth and profitability in your business too. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, very good.
Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah. At Gallup Solutions, to give you an idea, we work with clients on a management level. So we work with CEOs of organisations where you may actually have a large team already, but you're looking to bring in a BDM to actually go out there and get new blood into your organisation. I mentioned at the start there's a difference between an account manager and a client relationship manager and a BDM, and just to explain that now for you. The reason why BDMs are so important is because they're the ones looking for the new clients, the new opportunities to keep business, to keep feeding your pipeline of opportunity into your organisation. Client relationship managers and account managers are there to maintain the relationship you have with your existing clients. Their sole product is to keep those clients happy and obviously to keep the revenue generating from your existing client base. So again, the difference there, BDM brings in new clients, generates new interest into your business to be able to bring a new client in, whereas the account managers and client relationship managers look after your existing clients. So that's a really important differentiation between the two. And at Gallup, we actually show clients how they can actually structure their organisation. You may have someone within your organisation at the moment who is brilliant at actually bringing in new clients, but they may be just stuck in the wrong seat at the moment doing something else that they may not be as passionate about or they may not be as productive about. But we actually show that there are 7 divisions within an organisation, and one of those is the BDM role, and we separate out the sales role and the account management role. So I've actually got a special offer today, Peter, for anyone who is listening into this webinar. And for the month of February, I'm actually giving away 2 complimentary tickets to one of our Gallup Solutions Discovery Seminars for the month of February. Now, this is going to be limited to the first 10 calls, as these tickets are actually worth $399 per person plus GST. So I have been able to grab 10 of these tickets for your listeners today. And if anyone is interested, please feel free to give me a call, and I'd be more than happy to talk you through a little bit more about what Gallup offers and if actually it may be suited to your business or not. So I hope there'll be some people there, Peter, that could be advantageous too.
Yeah, that's a very good offer, and hopefully some of our viewers will be inclined to accept that, because it would be a great introduction to services that a lot of businesses don't really understand how business development managers and what management consultants can do for them. So thanks very much.
That's okay. I hope today has actually just given a little bit of enlightenment as to how BDM does actually add value to your business, and how it does differ from that account management role. And quite honestly, the BDM is the opportunity to just keep feeding that pipeline of opportunity for new clients into your business. You don't want to keep servicing what you've got and find that that comes to an end and suddenly lift your head up and go, where's the next client, and find that there's actually no one there. So that's the most valuable role of that BDM, because they'll make sure that your pipeline is never empty.
Very good.
Thank you, Peter, for your time today.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Moira. I'll just close your slides down now and just go back to where we were on our slides. So if you're interested in finding out more about ESS Small Business, you can go on to the Business Partners website, and there will be information there on corporate connectors. The slide hasn't been updated, but on corporate connectors, and you'll be able to get the information. ESS Small Business has got a wide range of free articles on the site that a small business can download, and there are paid articles there, all at reasonably priced, and there are promotions by various companies, and obviously one of them today is the promotion from Gallup's that Moira has talked about, and the details of that will be on the website in the next 24 hours. Also on our website, if you're interested in finding an accountant who is attuned to commercial matters rather than just compliance matters, you can enter your postcode, and our system will give you an indication of accountants in or near your postcode who we know can supply you with a range of commercial services. If you want to visit the site, it's www.esssmallbusiness.com.au. So thank you very much for participating in this webinar today. Thank you very much, Moira. And
you're welcome, Peter.
We look forward to catching up with everyone in the near future. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.